I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
That puts fear in the community. Right. To park the ICE agent's vehicle near a church. They are on a public street. She said that, sir.
Waiting to receive.
The hell with MSNBC, the fake news media. Oh, Tom Homan, we finna shut it down. Let's do it.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Woo! Yes, sir! I couldn't wait to jump into this, family. Y'all know I was gonna bring it. Y'all know Rick was gonna bring it. Y'all been blowing me up, Rick. Tom Homan just shut it down on MSNBC. The hell with MSNBC. The media. The enemy of the people. This heifer here ought to be walked out. This heifer here is a activist, not a journalist. They won't tell you the truth. Gaslight and fearmonger. We come in and shut it down. We actually have a border czar. We know who's running the country. Nobody's on the beach asleep. Nobody's in that little room where they had the drinks at laughing and pissed drunk. She was supposed to be at the border, but she's laughing and she's pissed drunk. So, hey, but we actually know who's running the country now. And look at the changes. Look at the so-called numbers. Yeah, this is good. You know, and I'm going to come on here and keep it real. The hell with Morning Joe, the hell with MSNBC. I think they ought to audit their butt and shut it all down. And shut that building headquarters down, sell it off, make it a nonprofit or whatever, something that benefits the people or something. You know, but then we know about some of them nonprofits, you know, how they, you know, it's always some corruption going on somewhere, somehow, somebody pulling the money this way. That, you know, it's always a disgrace. You know, it's always somebody lying on the application, you know, especially if they Democrats. It's always some kind of wire fraud or something. A disgrace. The hell with Democrats. The hell with the fake news media. You know, when will y'all ever get it right? You know, and when are you going to understand to be in the country illegally is a crime? And when are y'all going to understand that the majority of America spoke loud and clear and love what President Trump and Mr. Tom Homan is doing? You know? Yeah. Look, I'm going to just read some of these comments. She is not a journalist. She is an activist. Being in a country illegally is a crime. I literally just said this, and I didn't even read the comment section. I literally just said this, and I did not read the comment section. You know? MSNBC really hates the USA. The media is the enemy of the people. What a strange hill to die on. The media is so obviously propaganda. It isn't even funny. Yeah. The media is the enemy of the people. It says Joe deserves Mika. Yeah, they ought to walk Mika out in handcuffs. This heifer here is not, I've been saying this about all of them. They are not journalists. They are activists. From the MSNBCs, the CNNs, the CBSs, the ABCs, the NBCs, all of them. The hell with the Alphabet News. The hell with the Alphabet News. Now let's get into this. Enough of me yapping, japping, and screaming and hollering. They say Rick, all hell. Rick is back on here hollering and screaming. They didn't have to turn the volume down on their TV and phones and devices. I apologize, family. They say, Rick, sir, your blood pressure's up, sir. Calm down, sir. Rick, did you get in your ginger and your turmeric, your B12, your CG12s and ACGE vitamins, Mr. Rick? Mr. Rick, come on, calm down, sir. You're shooting up your sodium, sugar levels, your cholesterol, your calcium levels, sir. Please calm down, sir. Stop screaming, sir. All right, family, I got y'all. I'll stop hollering and screaming. Let's go and get into this. Tom Homan is finna shut it down. This heifer is literally finna walk off set. Tom Homan finna turn this heifer red. She finna turn red live on television. Let's go and do it, Tom. Because the media won't ever tell the truth. And that's the biggest point of this video. They will never tell you the truth. And it's just anti-Trump. Trump is bad. Our democracy is under attack. Unconstitutional, unpresidential. You know, Trump's the boogeyman. People are disappearing. They're at the church. They're at the schools. You know, tell the people the truth. But y'all just want to put fear in people's hearts. Y'all don't want to tell people the truth or the full story. You want to cut clips. You don't want to air the full thing. Let's jump into it.
I just want to know what ICE agents out in the field right now, what they consider to be a criminal. Is that someone who has committed a crime like robbed a store? Or what about Narcisco Barranco, the father of 3 Marines who was cutting bushes at an IHOP before they took him off the street?
You send me the specifics of that case, and I'll run down what the specifics of that case are. You may not know all the facts around that case.
I may not. I certainly don't. That's why I'm asking you.
Right now, I see on the show this morning, you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. Did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. Right. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
they're on a
near
public
a church.
street.
They're on a public street.
They're on a public street waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road. In the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston? They've arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 34-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer. This past year, I've seen innocent Americans raped and murdered by people who are not supposed to be here. So rather than going back and forth and say, well, ICE has got a car parked near a church, that is ridiculous.
Like I tell y'all, those are Democrat heroes. Those ones that do the disgusting things, those crimes, those are Democrats' heroes. They could care less. They protest against the crime crackdown for removing the bad guys off the street. They want it still here. The judges want you to turn the plane back around with the gang members on the plane and drop them off back in America. And let's scream due process. Due process. The man has unalived 5 people. He's done those things to the kids. He's done that nasty stuff. He did that. He had this. He had that. And let's give him due process.
Okay.
That family that's grieving. The ones that won't, that American family that won't see their loved ones anymore. But hey, due process. Where is that family's due process? Where is that son and daughter that won't see their mom or father anymore? You know, especially their mom. They won't see their mom anymore. We just covered that case with the mom that you know, and she was a black lady too. Where is the BLM scammers? Where is the Black Lives Matter? Now the kids have to grow up with missing a parent in the household. They have to miss their mom, and you know, where is their due process?
Like this, exactly what they're doing.
Is a person who is living in this country, paying taxes, has a license, has a job, and has kids serving in the U.S. military, but is still in the process of getting legal papers, is that person a criminal?
Well, every case is different, but when I'm
talking, that, you know, stuff like this, but you see how, you know, they try to flip it. That's one thing we hate about the media. We hate that she's an activist, not a journalist. You know, when will y'all ever get it right?
I'm asking about that case.
No,
because there's been that
case.
No,
from what you just told me, they're not a public safety threat. However, if they're in the country illegally, that is not okay either. So should that person be put in a car, like surrounded by ICE agents wearing masks and dragged into a car and detained? I don't know the specifics of that case, but let me say this.
That seems to be the answer for any case that has happened that you don't want to talk about.
Are you going to let me answer the question?
Let them speak.
I don't know the facts of that case.
What the hell wrong with this heifer? Let him speak. And he just completely tearing your butt up live on television. Because y'all just won't get it right, Mika. Y'all just won't get it right, MSNBC. Where Joe got his set? Where he at? Was it spa day from him? They got the little ladies rubbing on his toes and his legs, rubbing his back. Where Joe got his butt at?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have to look at the facts of the case. However, I will say this. If they're in the country illegally, that is not okay. And people think illegal immigration is a victimless crime, and it's not. Do they have a criminal history? Have you seen the intelligence? Do you have the intelligence?
I'm just asking, do you consider someone who is trying to get their papers now, struggling, and has kids who serve in the military, has a license and pay taxes, is that in your mind a criminal?
So I don't know who this case. Do they have a final order? Have you seen the background investigation or the investigation that was built upon by the ICE agent? What's involved in that case? Things you may not know. So unless I know the specifics of that case and I have the file in front of me, I can't make that determination.
Well, I would like to see that data that you're talking about, the 70%, the criminal history. I'd love some transparency as to why a lot of these people have been disappeared.
Well, here's the rhetoric again, right? You just meant disappeared. That is a ridiculous thing to say.
Why?
Because ICE is doing the same thing we've done for decades. But because of the last 4 years, ICE wasn't allowed to enforce the law. ICE was told to sit back, and you can't arrest an illegal alien for simply being here illegally. If you don't like what ICE is doing, then go protest Congress. However, to say we disappeared people, no. We're arresting people that are in the country illegally and are public safety threat. We know exactly who we're going to arrest when we go look for them. This is not disappearing people. This is a planned, targeted enforcement operation that we're doing. And comments like you just made is one of the reasons why these men and women are under threat every day. Not just the men and women in ICE, but their spouses and their children. They're not disappearing people. They're enforcing the law. And you using the term disappearing people is
that's
disgusting.
What's happened. That happened to the group that was sent to El Salvador.
U.S. citizens get arrested every day. U.S. citizens get arrested by police every day. Are they being disappeared? No, their laws are being enforced. They're being arrested. They're being put in detention because they committed a criminal offense.
Not like what you're doing. Not even close.
We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people. That's enforcing the laws of this country and making this country safer.
I don't even know why we even go on MSN. Like I've been saying for so long, why we waste time on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, Face the Nation, Meet the Press. I don't know why we go, and I know it's politics. So, they have to come up there. They have to, give answers, but terrible. And I love how everybody in the comment section is literally calling this lady out in MSNBC. And there's the biggest comment is saying being in the country illegally is a crime. Being here illegally is a crime. How is that hard to understand? Look, I'm just reading the comment section. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below. But I love y'all. God bless y'all and your family. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and love, you guys.